Key point 1. A better version of yourself. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy centered on the pursuit of eudaimonia, happiness or self-realization, offers practical advice for living a good life. Stoics believe that real happiness is achieved by developing our potential and bridging the gap between what we are and what we could be. Virtue and tranquility are the foundations of Stoic happiness. Virtue, or ERE, refers to excellence in actions that allow us to reach our potential, highlighting 4 main virtues. These are: wisdom, allows us to perceive reality objectively, to differentiate good from evil, and to determine what we can control. Courage can be defined as acting correctly despite fear. Justice implies acting fairly without seeking revenge. Discipline, essential for personal freedom and overcoming obstacles. Focus on what you can control and transform obstacles into opportunities. Stoics also emphasize the importance of mental serenity, or ataraxia, as they consider that acting with virtue leads to tranquility. Stoicism teaches us to deal with what we can control. Only what's under our control can be good or bad. Everything else should be indifferent. Are you ready to learn more fascinating lessons from the Stoics? Let's dive in. Key point 2. The importance of observation. When it comes to dealing with emotions, clarity and objectivity are essential. We can achieve this by analyzing things from multiple perspectives and not always assuming that one way is the right way. Stoicism believes that wisdom resides in the ability to observe carefully. This ability will direct courage and discipline in the right direction and avoid costly mistakes. To live in a Stoic way, we must understand how our subconscious thoughts and emotions influence our decisions and behaviors. That is why it is important to be aware of mental processes and what is happening inside us by practicing introspection. This process involves questioning beliefs and automatic responses, avoiding confusing thoughts with facts, and making hasty opinions. Put simply, it means taking a step back and observing everything. The influence of language on emotions is another critical aspect. Always use precise and objective terms, avoiding value judgments at all times. First impressions should be treated as possibilities, not as absolute truths that refuse to change. Remember, sometimes a person may be nervous or shy, and that first impression may come over as rude or unwilling to engage. If you take the time to get to know the person, your impression of them may change. Visualize your emotions as hypotheses, not facts, if you want a clearer perception and to make rational decisions. It takes practice to develop mindfulness and self-perception. Even though automatic reactions were useful in ancient times, they can be detrimental in today's world. Therefore, always question impulsive emotions before jumping in and taking action. Acting without thinking often causes negative events to occur, and sometimes we can't take back the consequences of these actions. How do you achieve the good life? Eudaimonia. By adopting principles that govern your impulses and your actions. Marcus Aurelius. Key point 3. How to sidestep emotional problems. There are a number of emotions that Stoics paid special attention to. Here are specific strategies that focus on the nature of our responses and how we can deal with them more productively. Fear. To defeat fear, analyze and precisely define where it comes from. We must implement prevention strategies to avoid or reduce the risks involved, and deal directly with what is feared to reduce unfamiliarity. The expectation of worst-case scenarios, called negative visualization, can help lessen their impact. Courage implies acting correctly and facing your most feared situations. Anxiety. We manage our anxiety by recognizing that it is self-generated, mainly because we try to control what we can't. Focusing on the present and not worrying about the opinions of others helps to mitigate it. As a byproduct of fear, anxiety can also be relieved by understanding and managing its underlying causes. Rage. To control anger, distance yourself emotionally and examine the situation objectively. Then evaluate whether harm has really occurred and if the reaction is appropriate. Avoid losing your peace of mind unnecessarily to maintain a balanced attitude and prevent impulsive reactions. Shame. Confronting shame involves analyzing its origin and distinguishing between justified shame and emotions based on arbitrary social standards. Accepting your appearance or situation while working on improving it will set you apart. Remember, your worth does not depend exclusively on external aspects. Remorse. Remorse is overcome by drawing lessons from the past and using these experiences to improve in the future. It is important to forgive ourselves and accept that mistakes are what makes us human. Focus on the present and act in the here and now. Sadness. Managing sadness involves reflecting on the purpose of suffering and recognizing that, even though grief is inevitable, it should not be prolonged unnecessarily. A change in perspective, focusing on the positive aspects of what was lost rather than on the loss itself, and acting to honor the memory of those who are gone can alleviate sadness. Desire. Desire is contained by balancing your ambition to improve with the realization that greed can lead to poor decisions. Channel the energy of desire toward productive goals and tasks and avoid impulsive or harmful actions. Key point 4. The importance of having a clear plan. Setting precise goals is a basic step toward achieving them. This clarity allows our minds to focus and direct our actions effectively. Make sure these goals are personal and reflect individual values, avoiding those that depend on the approval or judgment of others, such as the desire to be liked. Setting personal and relevant goals decreases anxiety and increases the likelihood of success. In his Stoic wisdom, Seneca illustrated the importance of a balanced approach in the pursuit of goals. He warned against stubbornness, which can lead to tunnel vision and the possible betrayal of our values. At the same time, he criticized fickleness, characterized by constantly changing goals without achieving anything meaningful. These, while important, should not overshadow the importance of acting with virtue and developing good habits. As such, how we achieve our goals is more important than the goal itself. Establish healthy habits and adapt your strategies to the present, instead of focusing only on the end goal. When it comes to planning, don't wait for the perfect situation. Plans are dynamic entities that must adapt and evolve. They are guidelines, not unbreakable rules. Adapting projects to individual realities and constantly striving to learn and improve is more effective than sticking to an ideal but unattainable strategy. Finally, don't forget to evaluate the process. Measuring both results and processes provides a clear view of whether our actions are effective. Measurement fosters motivation and commitment. In addition, it is important to recognize that true improvement comes from an ongoing process and not from isolated actions. Doing the same right things over and over again builds good habits, and these, in turn, generate positive results eventually. Tolerating uncertainty and making decisions with imperfect information is part of the path to success. It encourages curiosity and adaptability instead of the search for absolute certainty. Did you know? According to a study conducted by Harvard University, people who set specific and defined goals are 63% more likely to achieve them than those who don't. Key point 5. Be determined and avoid procrastination. In practice, Stoicism seeks to achieve a more meaningful and efficient life. To genuinely live the Stoic principles, beyond just knowing them theoretically, it is essential to transform ideas into concrete actions. Time management is another key component, and since it is a limited resource, it must be managed wisely and selectively. We might only have 24 hours in any given day, but how we use them matters. Nowadays, it is increasingly common to hear the phrase, "I don't have time." In response to this, Vasquez suggests we analyze and restructure our daily activities, so we eliminate what is unnecessary. This correction is critical to overcoming procrastination, often linked to a lack of clarity, fear of failure, or laziness. To counteract it, simplify tasks and define clear and achievable goals. This approach will keep you on track and stop you from putting things off that could easily be done today. Prioritize and simplify your goals to efficiently use your time and overcome procrastination. Perfectionism can be another obstacle, so embrace mistakes as part of the learning process. Don't rely on motivation to do the right things. Instead, work on discipline. Another difficulty we may encounter when it comes to ending procrastination is the influence of our social environment on the habits we adopt and the decisions we make. We must surround ourselves with people with like-minded goals and values to facilitate positive change. The Stoic view argues that we should balance solitude and companionship, choosing friendships that foster personal growth. It's very easy to assume that more friends is the best way forward, but not all friends are made equal. Instead, focus on quality connections that bring joy and support in your life. Whatever touches what's dirty ends up getting dirty. Epictetus. Key point 6. Strength and resilience as a way of life. Throughout our lives, we will face many situations that can derail us from our plans and good intentions. However, from a Stoic perspective, these challenges are opportunities to strengthen ourselves and exercise discipline instead of being negative. Stoicism emphasizes 3 common obstacles that can keep us from our goals: adversity, temptation, and criticism. Facing adversity begins with accepting reality as it is, remaining calm, and understanding that obstacles are opportunities to become stronger. According to the Stoics, adversity is not negative, but an impartial circumstance that can be used to cultivate discipline. The examples of Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus on how to deal with pain and limitations exemplify this attitude of acceptance and detachment. Regarding temptations, we must recognize the insatiable nature of desire and the consequences of giving into it. Cognitive distance is a tool that weakens the power of our objects of desire, allowing us to align our actions with our personal convictions. Find ways to limit the stimuli that lead to succumbing to temptations. For example, if you find it difficult to resist eating candy, buy fewer foods with high sugar content or substitute them for others with lower amounts. Reduce your exposure to them to cognitively distance yourself from the source of temptation. Plan your frequent responses and modify your environment to strengthen your determination. When dealing with criticism, consider keeping a balanced attitude. Evaluating and listening to criticism is essential, but do not allow it to negatively impact your peace of mind. Work on your self-esteem and confidence, regardless of what others think. To do this successfully, remember that these actions take time. Patience is a determining factor in the process of personal improvement and growth. If you want to succeed in keeping your thoughts in the present, you can appreciate each small achievement and understand that significant changes take time for sustainable and fruitful progress. Face adversity as an opportunity for growth and remain calm in the face of criticism, remembering your values. Conclusion: it doesn't matter where we are in life. Stoicism is a valuable philosophy that guides us toward a happier and more meaningful reality. Its teachings are based on the pursuit of happiness or self-realization through the development of virtue and tranquility. The 4 main virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and discipline, serve as pillars for us to reach our potential and live according to the correct values. To implement Stoic teachings in daily life, be determined and avoid procrastination. Simplifying tasks, overcoming perfectionism, and surrounding ourselves with like-minded people are effective strategies to achieve our goals. Ultimately, Stoic philosophy reminds us that we are responsible for our happiness and success. Even in a world full of challenges, we can be faithful to our values. What practical steps will you take to integrate these lessons into your life? Try this. Reflect on your virtues. Identify how you can incorporate wisdom, courage, justice, and discipline. Set goals that are aligned with your values and not with external expectations. Surround yourself with positive influences. Choose friends, mentors, and environments that support your goals and reinforce the values that matter most. To learn more about Stoic philosophy and its fascinating history, check out these headway summaries: Life of the Stoics, Meditations of Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, Letters of a Stoic.